So just to jump right into Lace, you guys said that you release Lace, and what is Lace, and what utility does that provide for Cardano users?
So I thought a lot about how do we get Cardano to 1 billion users? How do we get the ecosystem to become the world financial operating system? Instead of that, it's just good old-fashioned hardcore protocol design, where you do the science, you do the engineering, you build great protocols, and you get those protocols into market. Other parts of that is, well, what is the consumer interface? What is the portal upon which 1 billion people will do stuff? Whether they're playing with NFTs, they're issuing assets, they're doing DeFi things, they're playing video games. There's identity components, estate planning components, managing billions of dollars, security tokens, all this type of stuff. So about last year, we said, let's start a research project to imagine what a portal, an interface to all of those use cases would look like, to go above and beyond what a normal cryptocurrency wallet does. So an identity-first wallet with full node security, but it's light enough to be on a phone. And it was a very ambitious project. We put some of our best people together. We took a lot of great new technologies like Mithril and Atala Prism, and a lot of legacy stuff that we invented in the Cardano ecosystem, and we pulled it all together. And now Lace as a product is starting to come out into market. It's one of our first commercial B2C products, and so it's not a reference client. It's not like Daedalus, which is a neutral playground, but rather this is IO's view of how crypto ought to be done. And our hope is that it's going to kind of push along the standards for our entire ecosystem, get every wallet to become Mithril enabled, have people start really getting identity seriously, talk about certified wallet standards and these types of things. It's a browser-based interface. It'll eventually come to your cell phone and to the desktop. And every step of the way, it's innovating as much as it can. So we're real excited to kind of demo it, build a beta movement around it with some pioneers. And hopefully we'll be able to translate that into a very successful ecosystem that can bring in everybody, not just the crypto enthusiasts, but the entire space. It's also going to be cross-chain. So it's not just Cardano. It'll support Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of other ecosystems, and showcase what we've created as an ecosystem to the rest of the cryptocurrency space in that respect.
That's amazing. Can we go a little bit into Mithril? What is Mithril?
So Mithril is kind of solving a very specific set of problems where you want to verify something as if you had the entire blockchain, but you don't have it. Mm-hmm. So it's just that simple. So normally how you do that is that you would have like a really heavy snark or some really sophisticated cryptography. But because we designed Cardano the right way and we had a lot of foresight, we were able to come up with something that's much lighter weight than what Mina is doing or Cello's doing. So we don't need Plumo, we don't need super sophisticated snarks. We were able to, with just threshold cryptography, to create these beautiful certificates that Stakepool operators can construct, and their existence allows people to verify state and transactions as if they had a full node, while they could be doing that on a light client. This is absolutely essential for scalability. It's absolutely essential also for usability, because at the end of the rainbow, the vast majority of people are going to be using their cell phones, laptops, browser clients, these types of things. They use crypto. And if they don't have the ability to do this, they have to trust a third party. So effectively, you've centralized something that should be decentralized. So we worked on it for about 24 weeks with a great partner, Gawa, and now we've gotten to a point where we're opening up, and Stakepool operators are the ones who are starting to install and play around with it, because they're the ones who will be building the Mithril certificates as value-added software on top of their stake pools. And then hopefully it'll become an open standard that wallets can integrate, light wallet side for security and full node side for parallel validation of epochs. So you have much, much faster bootstrap for full nodes.
So considering Lace will accept multiple different cryptocurrencies in the wallet, will Mithril work with, Bitcoin or, other applications, or has Cardano been built, from the start to allow Mithril to work?
Well, our shit is always the best stuff. And so, while I can do some stuff for other ecosystems, I can't do it all. So with proof of work ecosystems, we have a concept called NIPA-POWs, non-interactive proofs of proof of work, that DNS's Zindros invented while working with us. And it's been turned into concepts like Fly Client. And there's even ideas about how to get it into Bitcoin without a hard fork. It's called the Velvet fork. So certainly some people are exploring that technology. There's also proofs of proof of stake that DNS's came up with that Ethereum could potentially use. So as we go multi-coin, the idea of embedding proofs and proof structures into the wallet to maintain a consistent trust model is very important. But you innovate where you innovate, and so Mithril is really built hand in glove for Cardano and its sidechain ecosystem. It was never built to port over to these other ecosystems. But good news is there's other stuff. Like we wrote a paper called Snacks to talk about that, and obviously DNS has that proof of stake, and NEPA POW's the proof of work. I think those things are definitely going to bring those things into the conversation, and our hope is to find ways to integrate those into Lace as we start getting users from other ecosystems.
Project Catalyst has come a very long way. In Fund 2 and Fund 3, there was only hundreds of thousands of dollars going out to fund community projects. In the last fund, there was, over, I think it was $8 million, $9 million that were given out to many projects in Catalyst. And I'm curious, Catalyst is changing all of the time. Where is Catalyst going?
So Catalyst is an integral component in the growth hacking of Cardano, in that it gives the community the ability to set priorities and fund those priorities at the grant level to help bootstrap a vision. It's not really intended to replace VC. It's not really intended to be the sole source of funding, but rather an innovation fund to encourage and inspire people to start building in a particular direction. And we see this a lot with governments like the National Science Foundation. So it doesn't replace the whole notion of industrial research, but what it does do is incentivize people to start studying things that are viewed to be valuable to the American academic community. So in the case of Catalyst, the community decides, well, maybe we want more adoption in Africa, or maybe we want better developer experience, or maybe we want more scalability, or maybe we want more wallet diversity, or whatever that challenge problem is. And the point of Catalyst is to give a shot in the arm to a lot of people who are building that. Now, what's nice about it is it doesn't become like a government bureaucracy where it allows these zombie projects that aren't commercializable to survive long term. Rather, what it does is it gives enough resources to get the conversation started, but it's still incumbent upon the person receiving funding to find a viable model to continue pursuing it. So it has a place and a purpose like a grant agency. And what's cool about the Cardano Treasury is that's just one arm of the Cardano Treasury. The Age of Voltaire is about turning on all the tools of governance of Cardano, including diversity of Treasury. So there's different Treasury events like funding consortiums to do long arc development work for long arc roadmap. That's the next milestone I'd say, for our participation. But then there's also potentially infrastructure that we as an ecosystem decide needs to be funded long term, like the DB Syncs of the world or the exchange integrations and these things. And that's an example of where you could pay technical fellows full time to work on nothing but that. And that would be very different than Catalyst, because that's not about innovation. That's about maintenance, interoperability, and capabilities inside the ecosystem. So what was nice about Catalyst is it got people started in the conversation of governance, voting, the concepts of DREPs and these types of things. But we're starting to outgrow that model, as you see by the demands for changes in protocol parameters, whether it be K or minimum fees or these things. And we're starting to see a clamoring for different governance institutions and structures. So come November, we in the foundation are outlining a pretty aggressive plan to try to create structures that allow as many people as possible to participate through a members-based organization, on-chain voting, and also bringing the concept of DREPs into Cardano's core so that a governance class can form that goes above and beyond anything we imagine with Catalyst. Now, Catalyst will still be around and has a place and purpose, but it can then become much more focused on being that grant agency model to help projects get bootstrapped and incentivize directionality inside Cardano's agenda. But it then needs to be augmented by other funding streams from the Cardano Treasury to accommodate other demands, whether they be maintenance or innovation.